Team Fantasy Outlook time. Let's get it. Welcome in, everybody. Today we're going to dive deep into the fantasy outlook for the Seattle Seahawks for 2022. The Seahawks are officially in rebuild mode. Sending off Russell Wilson and committing to Drew Lock is all you need to know. As we look at last year's standings, the Seahawks finished 2021 as the number 4 team in their division. They finished behind the Rams, Cardinals, and 49ers at 7-10-0. This year, it may be more exciting to watch paint dry than to watch a Seahawks game. This year in the draft, the Seattle Seahawks only took one player who I believe could be fantasy relevant in 2022. We're talking about Kenneth Walker III. He's a running back out of Michigan State and has a second-round draft capital, and I believe his value will hinge on training camp and preseason. Walker should be the running back number 2 behind Penny to start the season. Carson may be done for his career due to his injuries. Kenneth Walker was productive in college, having over 260 carries, 1,600 yards, and 18 touchdowns. The Seahawks are a run-heavy team that should bode well for Walker. In college, Walker hasn't shown that he can catch the ball, but I believe that it could have been the offense that he was in Michigan State. Now let's look at an overview of the fantasy targets for the Seahawks in 2022. We are going to break this down into 3 categories. The first category is studs. These are players that you can easily plug and play regardless of matchups. Studs can win you weeks even against difficult defenses. The next category is starters. These are players that you will start almost every week, except there could be a few weeks where matchups can dictate whether you start them or not. The last category we'll talk about is the flex. These are players that you can plug into your flex position, and they have a chance to have a fantasy relevant game, but cannot be counted on every week due to inconsistency. Let's look at the stud category. Yeah, I don't have anyone in this category for the Seahawks. Now in the starters category, let's go ahead and look at DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Rashad Penny. In the flex category, I'm going to look at Noah Fant and Kenneth Walker III. Now let's dive into each of those fantasy football targets for the 2022 season. First up, we have DK Metcalf. Having Russell Wilson being traded away and having Drew Lock take over will be detrimental to the value of DK. The positive that we can gain from all of this is that the Seahawks should be in a negative game script for most of the season, so there should be plenty of attempts from Lock, but the touchdown targets will be reduced due to the fact that the Seahawks fans should get used to the phrase, 3 and out. There will be less opportunity for touchdowns with a quarterback like Lock at the helm. Last season, DK Metcalf finished as the wide receiver number 14, and this season, I believe he's going to be lucky to even be in the top 24. Next on the list, we have Tyler Lockett. As we stated with DK, the same goes for Lockett. Having Drew Lock at quarterback will be detrimental to the value of Lockett. Lockett is known for his big play ability, and I'm not sure that Drew Lock can create these opportunities with his accuracy. Last season, Lockett finished as the wide receiver number 16, and in my opinion, Lockett will be in the same boat as DK and be lucky to crack the top 24 in 2022. Now let's go over the running back who finished number 42 last season, and Rashad Penny. Penny was a late boomer last year as he ran for over 130 yards in 4 of his last 5 games. In those 4 games that he went over 130 yards, he had over 16 carries in each of those games. Penny has shown that he can carry the load if given the opportunity. Drafting Kenneth Walker III in the second round of the draft should leave Penny's value rocky during the 2022 season. If Penny cannot come out the gates playing at a high level, I can easily see Walker taking over as the true number 1 bell cow for this offense. Lastly, we have the number 12 overall tight end from last season, Noah Fant. Fant had to play with Drew Lock last season and was still able to be a top 12 tight end last year. You should see close to the same amount of number of receptions and yardage this year with the Seahawks. Fant will have 2 superior options on the outside of him who will demand targets, so Fant will need to become comfortable with that number 3 role. The upside of Fant is limited because of that quarterback play. Look for Fant to be drafted towards the end of drafts, and someone I would not be targeting this season unless there is an upgrade at the quarterback position. As always, thank you for watching the video. In this series, we're going to be breaking down every team of the 2022 season to better prepare you to dominate your draft and to make sure you can have a championship on your resume. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.